Adelaide Horror Podcast with Zombie Joe.
How are you, coasters? Welcome to a very special edition of Tuesday's Terrifying Tunes. I've got a special guest with me this morning, and I'd like to welcome on board live and local. This is Zombie Joe from Adelaide Horror Podcast. Say g'day, Joe.
G'day and hi, everybody.
And Joe has a regular podcast where he does amazing reviews on horror movies, and he'll tell you more about that shortly. A big thank you to that radio chick, Cheryl Lee, for another magnificent Monday latte. Is it ever going to be an espresso? No. Okay, Monday latte is good. That was a great show. I do listen to the last hour as I'm getting ready to switch on to go to air. So, welcome. Please stay with us for the next 3 hours. We have a magnificent show for you. And you'll also be able to have a look at us on the podcast later on. We'll give you more news about that. In the meantime, shall we get started, Joe? What do you think?
Yes, absolutely.
I think we should. All right. Talking about that, coasters. How's that for a start of Halloween 24, Tuesday's Terrifying Tunes edition? I have a special guest with me, Zombie Joe from Adelaide Horror Podcast. We started off with the delectable voice of Vincent Price doing his monologue from Thriller, a little bit of sound effects with the thunder and the lightning, and the Munsters TV theme show, one of my favourites when I was growing up. Joe, tell us a little bit about your Adelaide Horror Podcast.
Welcome to the Adelaide Horror Podcast. I'm Zombie Joe and I host themed episodes on horror movies, old and new. Catch episodes of Zombie Bite, a segment where I shuffle out of the crypt and interview local artists in and around Adelaide to do with the horror genre. Don't hesitate to summon me.
Good. And we will let the listeners know how they can view and listen and give their own critique if they like, because we're doing something different. This is in honour of those who like to celebrate Halloween, because it's fun. Why not? And here it is. This is the ABC Kids with their version of the Monster Mash. Hi, Cheryl Lee. This is Cheryl Lee. Cheryl Lee.
Have a good show.
Thank you.
Have fun.
Okay, and the next song is going to be featured Jeepers Creepers from the movie 2001. A fantastic modern creature feature that came out about a creature that stalks its prey by getting your scent and then rises and every 25 years feeds on somebody, and these two brother and sister couple end up finding that out the hard way.
Oh, I remember that one. That was an amazing movie. Shall we play it? Let's play it.
And that was Jeepers Creepers. And the next song I've got is Prom Night 2, Hello Mary Lou. And this is the song that you would dread every time you hear it. The ghost of Mary Lou will come and stalk you at the prom night.
I know, but you wouldn't think with Ricky Nelson, but there you go. All right, here we go. Zombie Joe, tell us once again, how did Ricky Nelson's song Mary Lou, what was it, a TV series or a movie? I couldn't
It was
remember.
a movie, yeah.
At the end.
So it's from 1987.
Right.
Yeah, 1987. So basically the premise is there was Prom Night, the first one was starring Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh, yes.
So this is the sequel to that, but it wasn't, the two movies aren't connected, but in the second one here, which I really thought was quite a cool concept, was it's a prom date that dies and she becomes a vengeful spirit. So every time that song comes on, you're in trouble. Like, pretty much. Yeah. Same as Jeepers Creepers before.
Oh, there you go.
That would come on the radio, and one of the characters said, when you hear this song run, because that's his theme song when it was. So the song that we just listened to before for Jeepers Creepers was the ending credits, and that's what added that element of creepiness when that song started.
Awesome.
So, yeah, both definite recommendations for me.
There you go, Coasters. You heard it first from Zombie Joe. And now a dedication from yours truly, Skyhooks with Hotel Hell. Live and local right here, 88.7 in the studio. I have special guest Zombie Joe from Adelaide Horror Podcast. And we do work together as well. And he's a really good chap. And he has his own podcast called Adelaide Horror Podcast. And we're doing a co-presentation live and local right here in the studio for the celebration of Halloween, which a lot of people enjoy. And we're doing it here for a bit of fun and for something a little bit different. So tell us, Zombie Joe, what have we got coming up next?
We've got Sympathy for the Devil by the Rolling Stones.
Yes.
Classic banger. Now, this one here actually did pop up a couple of times in two separate film and a TV show. So, Fallen '98 with Denzel Washington, and that was about a serial killer evil spirit that kind of possessed people. But every time, funnily enough, he used another Rolling Stone song, which was "Time Was Always on My Side." So every time you heard that song, it meant that the spirit had taken over the other person. And it, I haven't seen the movie in a very long time, but I know it was pretty cool. It was an interesting one for Denzel to do, actually. So
Is that the movie where he saves the girl
he probably does.
in the boat explosion?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
It's a
All
long
right.
time ago.
And it was a great song because we watched them play this live at Adelaide Oval when the
Yes.
Stones came to Adelaide. All right, let's play. Let's all enjoy. 8371 1000 if you'd like a cheerio. Welcome back, Coasters. 12:31 after midnight for Tuesday's terrifying tunes. And the first half an hour's already gone. It's so exciting. I love it. And why is it exciting? Is because I'm co-presenting this morning with Zombie Joe from Adelaide Horror Podcast. How are you feeling so far, Crazy
Yeah, really
Zombie
good.
Joe?
Yeah, really good. Really good.
What do you got for us?
Okay, so we got the next three songs that I've pulled out here. So Blue Moon by the Marcells from 1961. That's the end credit song from the American Werewolf in London that came out in 1981. The Midnight Special by Creedence Clearwater Revival. And that was the song that I remember the most that gave me the GBs as a kid, because Dan Aykroyd was at the start of this film from the Twilight Zone and kept saying to his mate in a dark highway, "Hey, do you want to see something scary?" So got lured into that one as a kid and freaked me out badly. So every time I heard that song as a little tacker, it always brought me back to Dan Aykroyd turning into a monster. And the next one is Leonard Skinner's Freebird, which was the final song used by Rob Zombie's Devil's Rejects in 2005.
What a great movie. What a great song.
Yeah. all
Shall we
three
hear
bangers.
them?
Yep, let's do it.
Here we go. 88.7 Adelaide's Coast FM, Leonard Skinner's Freebird. Before that, Creedence Clearwater Revival's Midnight Special. And the Marcells started off that bracket with Blue Moon. There, you get that for free. How are you, Crazy Joe?
Good, mate. Good.
All right, special co-presenter for this week's edition, Halloween edition for those that enjoy it. Coming up shortly, we're going to do some Rose Tattoo, Dokken, Robert Palmer, Alice Cooper, and an outfit called Accept before we play a couple of Aussie ones. And Zombie Joe will be back to talk to us about that very, very shortly. You're listening to Zombie Joe and Crypt Keeper Arthur on Tuesday's Terrifying Tunes. And for those fans of the Freddy Krueger movies, Zombie Joe, tell us about Dream Warriors.
Yeah, number 3 in the series. This is where Freddy Krueger got noticed to be more comical with his lines throughout the kills and stuff. Also, Patricia Arquette, this was her debut film as well. So a very young Patricia Arquette. And yeah, it was just based on a mental institution for young teenagers that were having sleep apnea. And funnily enough, Freddy was attacking them in in their slumbers. Like they were all the kids that were surviving the initial story of Freddy attacking them in the past movies.
That's right. It was about don't fall asleep,
Yep.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because if you fall asleep, Freddy
Yep.
will come and get
Yep.
you. I remember that. All right, there you go. That was Dream Warriors by Dokken. And now we're going to play you a song called Death or Glory from Rose Tattoo. And then we'll do some sponsorships and come back for some more. 88.7 Adelaide's Coast FM. Tuesdays, terrifying tunes. And that was Rose Tattoo, Death or Glory. I don't mind that song. What do you reckon, Zombie Joe?
Yeah, it's good, mate. I
like it too. All right, before that we had Dokken with Dream Warriors, featured in the Freddy Krueger movies. All right, it's 2 minutes to 1. And we're going to play a couple of sponsors as we do, because they support us like we support our local community right here at 88.7 Adelaide's Coast FM. And straight after that, we're going to have some Robert Palmer, Alice Cooper, Accept, and a couple more horror-themed songs from Australian artists.
Anna. Hi, I'm Cheryl. Hi, I'm Lynette, and I listen to 88.7 Coast FM.
And yes, you are, and it's 1 o'clock. And how are you, coasters? Have you enjoyed the first hour of Tuesday's terrifying tunes? I am. I love it. This is good co-presenting with my special guest, Zombie Joe, sitting here with Crypt Keeper Arthur. What's coming up, Zombie Joe?
the next three, we've got Robert Palmer, Bad Case of Loving You from 1979, and that featured in a movie called X, which came out in 2021. It's a Ty West movie, and it stars Jenny Ortega. So your kids and grandkids would know her. She's becoming the more popular Scream Queen now. She just recently starred in Beetlejuice, which has now come out at the cinemas.
Yes.
Yes. So this is her first adult role. Before that was a lot of like Disney movies, and then she just grew up and into her role. So yeah, it's
And then?
And then we've got He's Back by Alice Cooper from 1986, and that featured in the Friday the 13th Part 6 for Jason Voorhees series. And the one after that is Fast as a Shark by Accept from 1982, and that featured in the 1985 Italian movie Demons.
Ooh. Let's do it. Wow, I tell you what, the cobwebs are gone, the dust has been removed from your mantelpieces, coasters. That was Accept with Fast as a Shark. Before that, Alice Cooper with He's Back, and Robert Palmer's Bad Case of Loving You. I'll tell you what, Zombie Joe, there were three really good ones, eh?
Yes.
I loved it.
I'm awake now.
Yeah, well, yes. Good morning. All right. Now, a touch of reality. It's sitting on 13.5 degrees for those of you interested. And for those coasters just waking up to do the early morning shifts, you can look forward to a beautiful 24 and sunny day for the rest of Terrifying Tuesday in honour of Halloween week. Are you well? I hope you're enjoying the show, and I hope you're enjoying the pleasure of our co-host this morning, Zombie Joe from Adelaide Horror Podcast. Well, coming up shortly, we have The Angels with Devil's Gate. Jimmy Barnes teams up with In Excess for the fantastic cover of Good Times. And then we've got some Metallica, 45 Grave, and another song from Rose Tattoo. Before we play a song from that beautiful lass from Wales named Bonnie Tyler.
Cooey Cobber. If you like that one, you'll reckon this is Bonza too. They're a dinky die Aussie double. 88.7 Adelaide's Coast FM.
There's a couple of great Aussie beauties right here on 88.7 Coast FM live and local. Jimmy Barnes with the lads from In Excess with their cover of Good Times, which I believe, Zombie Joe, are played in the movie Lost Boys, featuring Kiefer Sutherland and others. That was a good one. And before that, Adelaide's own The Angels with Devil's Gate. What do you got coming up for us now, Zombie Joe?
Right, we got For Whom the Bell Tolls by Metallica, 1984, and that was the opening song for Zombieland, the opening credits, 2009, which is probably the best song to play for an opening sequence to show you how all the zombies start attacking everyone in slow motion, and to have Metallica in the background.
That's the best.
It was the best choice ever. I just love it. Awesome.
And after that?
After that is 45 Grave with Party Time, and that was featured in my very first real horror film that I watched, which was Return of the Living Dead, 1985. Got that from the video show.
I remember that.
Yeah, and was the feature when the skeleton comes out of the grave and opens its mouth, and that's the song that's played for the promo.
Was that the one where the hand comes out of the saw first? Is that?
No, it's got the thing, and then the skull kind of jaw drops, and it's like, do you want a party time? It was big in the promo. But yeah, this movie was fantastic. It was just a bunch of teenagers hanging around, and there's a medical waste facility next door to it. It was the perfect opening for this thing, and some toxic chemicals getting to the grave, and all the dead come back. So,
bit of green stuff.
Yeah, it was a really good 80s horror film. I love it so much, and hence why I've called myself Zombie Johnny on the show. And
there you go.
Yep, and yeah.
All right, then movie. We'll do that. We'll play For Whom the Bell Tolls by Metallica, and then Party Time by 45 Grave. 45 Grave, Party Time. What a great song that is, Zombie Joe. What was that from again? The
Return of the Living Dead from 1985.
85. Remember that, Coasters? Yeah. All right. 85. What was I? I was already celebrating my 21st.
Well.
Ooh. Okay, so we're halfway through the show. And the show is a dedication to Halloween 24. And with me co-presenting is Zombie Joe from Adelaide Horror Podcast. Tell us a little bit about Adelaide Horror Podcast. How did you get started? Mm-hmm. And for those who are interested, how do they find you, Joe?
Okay. I'm on YouTube. That's mainly where I am now at the moment. I do monthly episodes, themed episodes. So at the moment, I'm doing an international horror series where I'm looking at overseas movies, and then I review other horror films in a theme. So I'll do aqua horror, space horror, and just talk about movies that are related to those topics. You can find me on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I had to keep up with all the new social medias that are coming out. So Threads is, I'm out. I'm done. I can't. So you can mainly see me there, or if you want to listen to me, there's some older episodes on Spotify and Google Play on the podcast as well, and Stitcher as well.
You said aqua horror, as in water.
Yes.
Can you?
So Oceania horror. So yeah.
Like the I think it was a cruise ship, the ghost ship or something. Ghost, yeah.
So similar thing to that, yeah. Or one episode's about werewolves, the other movie's about a war theme. So any horror movie that's based during a war period of time. So just stuff like that.
Ghost ship. Isn't that the one with the cable slices through the captain and his crew?
Yes.
I actually remember that. Ooh. Okay, thank you. Well, there you go, Coasters. So if you'd like to take an interest in something completely different and very entertaining, why don't you try looking up Adelaide Horror Podcast. Let's keep the show rolling along. Rose Tattoo, The Devil Does It Well. Bonnie Tyler from Wales with Total Eclipse of the Heart. And the Ramones with Pet Sematary. Rose Tattoo, right here, 88.7 Adelaide's Coast FM. You know, with Rose Tattoo, you know the sound you're going to expect, and their lyric writing is just amazing. That was called The Devil Does It Well. What did you think about that, Zombie Joe?
Yeah, that was good. First time hearing that one. That was a ripper.
I didn't mind. It's actually from 2002, so it's not from back in the 80s. But, talking about back in the 80s, as the regular coasters will know, I pick a moment randomly where I dedicate a song for the princess. And that, yeah, I know, right? And This is the song. Given all things being equal with the type of show that we're doing, this song is for the princess.
Okay, Coast FM listeners, make sure you check your back seat. This song came on in the the opening scene of the Urban Legend 1998, where the girl was escaping what she thought was a madman trying to get into her car, but the poor guy had a stutter and was trying to tell her that there was somebody in the back seat of the car, and Bonnie Tyler's song came on. So it's a very iconic scene, and for a great song as well. The next song we've got on now is Pet Sematary by the Ramones. This song got me into the Ramones when I was a little tacker, and I watched Pet Sematary by Stephen King, which is that's a real that's a doozer to watch as a kid. But
many people have reasons for liking the Ramones. I like them because they're a great punk band.
Yeah.
But yeah, Pet Sematary, awesome. Shall we do it? Let's do it.
Hi, my name is Alison.
Hi, I'm Anastasia.
Hi there, it's Anna. Hi, I'm Cheryl.
Hi, I'm Lynette, and I listen to 88.7 Coast FM.
88.7 Adelaide's Coast FM. You're with Crypt Keeper Arthur and Zombie Joe from Adelaide Horror Podcast. That was Australia's own The Divinals, headed up by Chrissy Amphlett with Ain't Gonna Eat My Heart Out Anymore live. And for those of you who might be interested, featured in the 1992 movie Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie. So that was good. I didn't mind the live version. What about you, Zombie Joe?
yeah, I liked it actually. It's the first time I heard it.
What have we got coming up after the 2 o'clock sponsor announcements?
Yep, so we've got 3 songs. So Don't Fear the Reaper, which was a cover version by the Mutton Birds, and that featured in 3 movies. Scream from 1996, The Stand, the Stephen King TV series from 1994, and The Frighteners featuring Michael J. Fox, 1996. Then followed by Red Right Hand by Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, and that featured as one of the predominant songs in Scream 1996 also. And the final third song is Summer Breeze, which was the cover by Type O Negative, and that was the opening credit song to the horror film I Know What You Did Last Summer, featuring Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Radio on 88.7 Adelaide's Coast FM.
Welcome back, Coasters. It's 3 minutes after 2 o'clock. Good morning. Welcome to Tuesday's Terrifying Tunes for our dedication for Halloween 24. Co-presenting with me is Zombie Joe from Adelaide Horror Podcasts. Sitting with me, Crypt Keeper Arthur. How are you doing, Joe? Are you enjoying yourself?
Yeah, it's great. You're having a good time.
I'm happy to hear that, and I believe the coasters are. Thank you for those who have been contacting us on social media, showing your support. Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds with a Red Right Hand coming right up after Don't Fear the Reaper from the Mutton Birds. Type O Negative, Summer Breeze, a little goblin. Gremlin, yeah. And what have we got coming up after that? I'll tell you what we have. We have The Man in Black, Johnny Cash, with The Man Comes Around. Disturbed with Down with the Sickness. I expect people to get up and do some headbanging. Tricky, AC/DC, Marilyn Manson. I'll tell you, this last hour is going to be fantastic. ZZ Top, Akadaka, Skyhooks, much, much more. So please stay with us. And as always, 83711000 if you'd like to have a cheerio.
I'm Christine from Somerton Park. Live and local 24/7. Adelaide's 88.7 Coast FM.
Homegrown and loved by millions. More Australian music. 88.7 Adelaide's Coast.
Summer Breeze, Type O Negative. Zombie Joe, tell us about that one.
Yeah, that was the opening credits for I Know What You Did Last Summer with 1997, which had Sarah Michelle Gellar also in it, and Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Yeah. Oh.
Freddie Prinze Jr., and then they go off and get married, and then they both starred in Scooby-Doo as well.
They did get married in real life, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yes. There you go. And before that, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds with Red Right Hand. Well, whilst those two tracks were playing, regular coaster. Katrina rang to say hello, and we love our coasters ringing us up and saying hello because it means that we're out there and we're live and local, enjoying the atmosphere and the music we're playing, and we had a really good conversation. So thank you, Katrina. It's time to put Mum to bed now, all right? Okay, and we'll talk again next time. All right, now, where are we? 22 after 2. Hang on, let me do my Richie Beno.
I was going to say, that sounds exactly...
22 after 2. All right, we have the Man in Black, Johnny Cash, coming up with a song called The Man Comes Around. What's that one all about there?
Yeah, so this
Joe?
was the opening credit, which another, again, really great choice of pick. This is the opening credits for the Dawn of the Dead movie that came out in 2004, which was the remake from the 1980s. Yeah. Of the George Romero zombie film.
Oh, yes. And one of my favourites, Disturbed, with Down with the Sickness. Where was that played, in what movie?
And that was also the closing credits for Dawn of the Dead 2004. So another great choice of, again, so in the movie, you've got an opening sequence of society crumbling because of the undead attack.
Yes.
And then in the closing credits, they have Down with the Sickness by Disturbed, and it's showing you the after effect. I love like the characters, and one of the characters was filming has a camcorder, so you're actually watching him pre the zombie thing on this yacht. So yeah, that's cool. Quite clever how they did that. And then also it featured in another movie called Queen of the Damned, which was a an Anne Rice novel about vampires, which was a really good thing. Yeah, started in 2002 that was. And that was also in the movie as well.
Fantastic. Well, coasters, there you have it. We're going to go from, if you like, one extreme to the other. Johnny Cash, followed by Disturbed. So there you have it. There's the rest of Terrifying Tuesday. Please stay with us the next half an hour. We'll squeeze in as many tunes as we can. Isn't that right, Zombie Joe?
That's it.
And Mr. Istvan is looking at us. That's good. He's waving. All right, good. We'll let him get ready. So what have we got coming up? We've got Disturbed. Tell us about Down with the Sickness there, Zombie Joe.
Yep, so closing credits for Dawn of the Dead and Queen of the Damned. So that was very popular at the time. They were at their peak, and that's why a lot of the movies decided to start having them feature in their opening or closing credits of their song, or being played or featured in their songs. So, yeah.
I can't wait to play that. And then?
After that is Excess by Tricky, and that is the song from 13 Ghosts 2001 and Queen of the Damned 2002. So, again, very popular around the early 2000s, these bands were coming in. And 13 Ghosts was a really good movie. If anyone was familiar with the TV show Monk,
yes,
that gentleman was, I forgot the name of him now. The name escapes me.
Yeah,
but he features in this movie. And it's about a house that's a maze. The family gets suckered into thinking that they've inherited this the uncle's property, and it turns out to be a trap, and there's 13 ghosts in there, and they have to survive the night with these 13
ghosts. I don't know if I can remember that, but we'll have a look.
Yeah, it's very good.
All right, and then we'll play Hell's Bells by AC/DC. So, coasters, turn it up. Here we go.
Adelaide Horror Podcast with
You want to see something really scary?
Mwah!